Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Urban Dunya, I'm Tim Blight, and welcome back to this series of spectacle. Again, today I'm in Medina in Saudi Arabia, and this behind me here is the Prophet's Mosque, which I visited yesterday. Today, however, I'll be taking you to some other significant sites around Medina, and I'll be starting with Jannat AlBaqi, the cemetery directly in front of me. I arrived in Medina, and after my first day at the Prophet's Mosque, it was time to experience more of the city. Modern Medina is still very much a pilgrim city. Most of these high-rise buildings are hotels catering to the millions of Muslims who visit here each year. Just across the plaza from the Prophet's Mosque is Jannat AlBaqi. This was one of the first Muslim graveyards and is the final resting place of many members of the family of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The graves today are marked by simple rocks which act as headstones, but the site was once home to a large mausoleum complex that was controversially demolished in the early 20th century. To know more about that, I encourage you to go to my blog, which is linked in the video description. So I've just taken the bus out to this place here, which is the battlefield of Uhud, and sort of over to the left here off screen is Mount Uhud, and it's at the base of that mountain, just behind me, behind that grill, where an important battle in the history of Islam took place, and many of the victims, the fallen from that battle, are buried in this land. When a vengeful Meccan army arrived in the Prophet's city of Medina, scores of Muslim archers were stationed on this mound. Tempted by the spoils of war, many of them left their positions, and the battle ended in heavy losses for the Muslim army, who retreated back into the hills of Uhud. The battle serves as a lesson about the importance of obedience and discipline over greed and opportunism. As well as the graveyard at this site, today stands a modern yet beautiful mosque. I took a short taxi ride from Uhud to Masjid al-Qiblatayn, or the Qiblatayn Mosque as it's called in English. And this mosque isn't one of the most important ones in Islam, but for me it's definitely one of the most interesting. This is the place where the direction of prayer changed mid-prayer. A lot of non-Muslims actually don't know about this, but we all know that Muslims pray towards Mecca, but that wasn't always the case. And it was during prayer at this mosque in Medina that the revelation was made by Allah that the direction of prayer should actually be in the exact opposite direction towards Mecca. And as a result, in the middle of the prayer, the entire congregation actually turned 180 degrees to continue their prayer. As a result, this mosque has two mihrabs, that's two niches in the wall to denote the direction of prayer. One of them is now used as the front door, and that's obviously the one which is on the Jerusalem side of the mosque. And the other one is the modern, or the proper one, which is in the direction of Mecca. Before leaving Medina, there was one more important site that I had to visit. I've just taken the bus now to the southern suburbs of Medina and to the Quba Mosque, or Masjid Quba as it's called in Arabic. And this mosque is particularly important because it is believed to be one of the first mosques that was ever built. It's said that after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers were exiled from Mecca for practicing their religion, they arrived in Medina, and it was on this spot that he started to arrange stones to demarcate the position of the first new mosque. There is some debate as to whether this is actually the first mosque or not, because when the exile from Mecca took place, he and most of his followers came to Medina, but a significant number of them were also sent to Northern Africa, and there is a mosque in modern-day Eritrea which was also built around the same time. Regardless, there is no denying the importance of this mosque, the first one to be built by the Prophet Muhammad himself. And if you're thinking that the construction looks fairly modern, then you would be correct, because in the past 100 years there was an effort to refurbish the mosque, but instead of refurbishing it, in fact the entire original mosque was demolished and rebuilt. So what you see here, although it's not the original structure, it is in the original position of that mosque. In my next video, I'll be undertaking the Umrah, an important Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca. Hit the subscribe button, you don't want to miss this one.